What's good, everybody? Welcome to another house party and another edition of Asking for a Friend. Now, I've had some people asking me, Tyler, what should I do right now? What should I be doing right now? And so the question we are going to ask today is, what is most important for you in this season of your life? What's most important for you right now? Because that's a big question, because there are tons of things going on and happening in our world, but we got to figure out what's most important right now. So hopefully through this conversation, we'll be able to talk through what's most important for you right now. And in order to do so, I want us to look at a guy in history named Nehemiah. Now, Nehemiah was a crazy good leader. He was a trailblazer. He was way before his time. So just to give you like some perspective of when Nehemiah was on earth, right now we're in 2020. Jesus was here about 2,000 years ago. Nehemiah came roughly about 500 years before Jesus. A lot of you have heard about Alexander the Great. You know, he conquered the entire known world. Nehemiah was alive about 100 years before Alexander the Great. That's where we are in history. So Nehemiah, the most important thing for him was to rebuild a wall that had been torn down. See, Nehemiah was a Jewish guy. He was from a place called Judea. But he didn't grow up in Judea because his family were exiles, meaning they moved to a completely different part of the world. They moved to a place called Persia. And Persia, in this particular time in history, was the powerhouse. I'm talking about they were the most powerful people on planet Earth. And Nehemiah just so happened to work for the king, King Artaxerxes I. He was the most powerful man on the planet, and Nehemiah got to work for him. So that's where we are, and Nehemiah gets word that his hometown, Judea, had been under attack, and people were just coming in and stealing everything from them. They had no freedom, they had no protection, and they were in trouble. And so this really grieved Nehemiah, and he wanted to be able to help his people. And so he goes to the king, King Artaxerxes, and he says, hey, my people, they've been under attack. They need help. I want to go home and build a wall to fortify the city so that they can be safe and they can begin providing for themselves again. You got to keep in mind, in this day and age, every city had a wall built, and the wall was meant to protect them. But for Judea, the surrounding cities came in and they tore down the wall. So they were just going in left and right and taking everything and killing everybody. So Nehemiah said, King, please grant me access and permission to go back to Judea, to build this wall and to protect my people. And so the king granted his wishes. Not only that, he gave him money for building supplies. He made him the governor, and he pretty much gave him his blessing, meaning that when Nehemiah traveled from Persia back to Judea, he was protected. Because in that day and age, people were goons. You could not just travel to another city. You had to have permission. And so the king granted him permission to travel from city to city in order to get to Judea. And so that's where we pick up. And Nehemiah was asking the question, what is most important? And for him, in that season of his life, the most important thing for him was to build the wall. So what is most important for you right here and right now in this season? It may be to finish school strong. You don't have hardly any accountability. You can cheat the system more than ever before. You may need to have a little integrity. And to finish this school year with some integrity and go out with a bang and really take this opportunity to grow in your education. What's most important for you now may not to be to get into another relationship. What's most important for you now may be to actually listen to what your parents are telling you and the advice that they're giving you, because they're way more wiser than we want to give them credit for. Here's one thing I've learned from Nehemiah. Here's one thing I've learned just in the day and age that we are in. When there's something important for us to do, something important for me to do, what I get distracted by is never as important as what I get distracted from. Let me say that again. The things that we get distracted by are never as important as the things we get distracted from. For example, just the other day, I was working on this content because I want to deliver something that's relevant to you, because I believe that the Bible has an answer for everything we go through. And so I want to be able to deliver this to you in a way that makes sense. And you say, wow, okay, the Bible is true. The Bible is relevant to my life. But as I was prepping for this, I was doing some work on my computer and I was writing all this out. And I thought, hey, I need to look up something on YouTube. And so I bounced over to YouTube and I see this ad at the top right, this little advertisement that said, Dr. Phil. Dr. Phil, like, that's not important. And it said 35-year-old rapper lives with his mama. And so I thought, that's funny. So I click on it. And next thing I know, I had spent 2 hours watching 4.5-minute Dr. Phil videos. And I didn't even prep for what I needed to prep for in order to deliver this content to you. And it took me like way longer than it should have. I stayed at work longer, which meant I ended up getting home later, which meant I had less time to spend with Nancy and Jordan. And so what I am learning, and what we all know is true, is what we get distracted by is never as important as what we get distracted from. And so that's why we have to know what is important for us right now. So let me ask you this question. What in your life do you need to eliminate? What in your life do you need to eliminate? And I hope that you're taking notes right now. I hope your first note is what's most important, and you give yourself some space to write that out. And then in order to figure that out, write down, what do I need to eliminate? You may need to eliminate that fake social media account you got because you're trolling on everybody, or you're just being super sneaky and you know it's not good for you. You may need to eliminate something else in your life that's distracting you, whether that's a show that you're watching, a channel you're subscribed to, the music that you're listening to. What in your life do you need to eliminate? The second thing is, and this is a little more personal, who do you need to eliminate? Ooh, yeah, who do you need to eliminate? Is it the person you're dating? She may not be great for you. He may not be great for you. Is it the people that you're hanging out with? And hear me out on this. Your parents have probably already told you, you don't need to hang around with these people. But I know our parents, they're old, they're irrelevant, they don't understand our lives, they're too old school. But truth be told, they have more insight and more intuition about who is good for you and who is not good for you. And you should probably listen to them, or listen to somebody else who has told you, this guy's not good for you. This girl's not good for you. This group of people, they're not good for you. So what do you need to eliminate? And who do you need to eliminate? And why is that important? Because the things we get distracted by are never as important as the things we get distracted from. And God has a plan for you in this season of your life. So what is most important for you right here and right now? I hope that as you dive into your group time, that you'll talk through that. And even after you get through with your group, that you would really reflect and take some time and ask yourself some hard questions. What's important for me right now? What do I need to eliminate? Who do I need to eliminate? Because God is doing something special in you and through you. And you want to make sure that you are narrowed in and you're focused on who He is. Now, I want to encourage you to check out Nehemiah chapter 5. That's the passage that we are in this week. And look at what Nehemiah gets distracted from, and look how he overcomes it. So thank you guys so much for being a part of another edition of House Parties Asking for a Friend. Catch you next time. Peace.